Hi, Rosemerry.
Hi, Sherry.
We're about to start a secret agent mission.
Yeah, let's get the secret agents.
Let's get them, okay? Where are you, secret agents? Come on in. Hi, beautiful secret agents. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Hey.
Oh.
Good morning, friends.
How beautiful to see all of you.
There is no.
Hi, friends. So many beloveds. Wrapping my arms right around you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well,
Good
how-
morning.
Oh,
Good morning.
Good morning.
what a beautiful symphony of good mornings.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And if you
Good
do
morning.
want to, in the chat bar, go ahead and say where you are secret agenting from where you are secret agenting. that had a dangling preposition and a word that wasn't a word, but
Oh, our poet.
good morning, everybody.
I'm stalling a little bit because some more beautiful people are joining in as we're talking. So this is always so beautiful. Good morning.
Let's see, we've got Texas and Maryland and California and Colorado and Kentucky, Virginia and West Virginia. So many spots here. Missouri and Montana. Okay, in Vermont, we've got all the corners covered now. Arizona and Idaho and Boston. Welcome, everybody.
Now that we've had a beautiful symphony of good mornings, could we ask if you could all please mute so that we wanted to be able to hear you when you came in, but we're going to have you mute now while we do the big reveal. And then, of course, as we always do, we'll open things up again for everyone who wants to join in the conversation. Ooh, I hear the silence.
So let's see, dear Sherry.
Hold on one
Starting
second.
off. Oh, yes, we're holding on.
I had to make you speaker view so I could see you big.
Okay. So raise your hand. I think we could actually see all of you if you raise your hand. Is anybody on their first secret agent mission? Is this anybody's first time? Welcome, new secret agents. And let's have a big show of hands of all the people who've been on secret agent missions before. Hello, everybody. Oh, look at all those hands too. Welcome to all of you. We're so glad you're joining us. And this is just a little bit, we always like to do just a little bitty story about how the Secret Agents of Change began. And then we'll launch into giving you the secret, well, the poem that launched the secret mission. And then we'll have a big conversation and then send you out into the world to spread surreptitious kindnesses. So the way this whole thing started years ago is when I got a letter in the mail with $5 in it from someone I didn't know saying, I love your poems. They make my life so much better. And I'm on this mission to just let people know they matter and basically give an energetic exchange of here's $5 so to let you know that you have brought abundance into my life and now I'm going to bring abundance into your life. And I thought, are you kidding me? That's incredible. Somebody just sent me $5. That's amazing. So I wrote a poem about it and sent her a letter back and wrote a poem called, and I think the poem was called Secret Agents of Change. And Sherry was that someone. And she contacted me and she said, Sherry.
Well, what happened was everybody loved your poem, right? Like I saw that people were saying, I want to be a secret agent of change. I want to be a secret agent of change. And
Me too. Her name is Sherry. She's fun.
Yes, she's fun.
And so what took a little bit of ridiculous courage to reach out to you because you, my dear, famous, beautiful, amazing poetess, but something in me, I just reached out to you and said, listen, I think we need to start something here. And you were your usual beautiful self, right? As everyone who knows you knows, you were a resounding yes. And
Yeah.
here we are, right?
And here we are. So that we started doing Secret Agent of Change missions. And at the beginning, it was, we did them concentrated in weeks, and now we've just kind of made them whenever. Because as far as we know, today isn't really a celebration of anything and nationally, although it had some funny, I forget what they were. There were some very funny, like national, eat a lollipop day or something like that. But what the way the missions work is this: we will read a poem, then we will have a Secret Agent of Change mission. Sherry is, as the co-spy master, will offer you a mission should you choose to accept it. And often we have a double secret agent mission. And then we'll have a chance to talk about what are some of the ways that we could do this, carry out this mission. Then in our Facebook group, and I hope you are all, if you're not on Facebook, don't worry about it. You don't have to do that. But the sweetness of the Facebook group is this, that you can then share how you carried forth your mission. And it's the best news in the world. It way beats watching CNN or Fox or the New York Times or anything. It's all good news of people doing gorgeous, beautiful things. It makes me feel good when I read these, and it also gives me ideas about other things that I could be doing. So, and by the way, I see that somebody named Amy is having a birthday. Happy birthday, Amy.
Happy birthday.
Yay! Happy birthday.
It's my holiday.
It is Amy's holiday. It's Amy's holiday. So, so that's a little bit about how it's going to work. Anything else you want to add, Sweet Sherry, about the framework of secret agents?
I guess just one thing I always like to remind people, I know that sometimes people feel shy. A lot of us were brought up not to be braggy about our kindnesses. And, I get that. But also those of you who have participated before and who have been able to read some of the stories that come in later, it is a gift, right? It's a gift. And it's a wonderful thing actually to celebrate kindness in this way. And so I just wanted to remind you all, if you can look at it that way, that every post that comes in, it's a beautiful gift to anyone who gets to read it. And boy, oh boy, do we need these kinds of stories right now, right? So just saying that, just that, don't be shy. And if you aren't on Facebook and you want to email me, do that and I'll post it for you. Sometimes people do that, and that's another wonderful way to participate. Okay.
Got it.
Thanks, Sweet Sherry. All right, so this is the poem that's going to launch us into action this time, this particular mission. And the poem is called Because. So I can't save the world. Can't save even myself. Can't wrap my arms around every frightened child. Can't foster peace among nations. Can't bring love to all who feel unlovable. So I practice opening my heart right here in this room and being gentle with my insufficiency. I practice walking down the street heart first. And if it is insufficient to share love, I will practice loving anyway. I want to converse about truth, about trust. I want to invite compassion into every interaction. One willing heart can't stop a war. One willing heart can't feed all the hungry. And sometimes, daunted by a task too big, I tell myself, what's the use of trying? But today, the invitation is clear: to be ridiculously courageous in love, to open the heart like a lilac in May, knowing that freeze is possible and opening anyway. To take love seriously, to give love wildly, to race up to the world as if I were a puppy, adoring and unjaded, stumbling on my own exuberance, to feel the shock of indifference, of anger, of cruelty, of fear, and stay open to love as if it matters, as if the world depends on it. Hey, I didn't cry while I read that. Don't you think that's almost a miracle? That's almost a miracle. I'm going to go ahead and just put that in the chat bar so that you can see it. And I will also be posting that on our Facebook group so that you have access to it. Oh,
Rosemerry, yes. Right before Valerie said that, I was going to ask you, I would like us all to close our eyes. And could you please indulge us in reading it to us again?
Of course.
Because I know,
Right.
yes. Oh, good. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who requested that. But let's close our eyes and really just be with Rosemary's voice. And if you're not muted, let me just, before you start, Rosemary, let me make sure we're all muted.
Okay, thank you.
So we don't have any background noise for you. Okay.
This is because. So I can't save the world, can't save even myself, can't wrap my arms around every frightened child, can't foster peace among nations, can't bring love to all who feel unlovable. So I practice opening my heart right here in this room and being gentle with my insufficiency. I practice walking down the street heart first. And if it is insufficient to share love, I will practice loving anyway. I want to converse about truth, about trust. I want to invite compassion into every interaction. One willing heart can't stop a war. One willing heart can't feed all the hungry. And sometimes daunted by a task too big, I tell myself, what's the use of trying? But today, the invitation is clear to be ridiculously courageous in love, to open the heart like a lilac in May, knowing freeze is possible and opening anyway, to take love seriously, to give love wildly, to race up to the world as if I were a puppy, adoring and unjaded, stumbling on my own exuberance, to feel the shock of indifference, of anger, of cruelty, of fear, and stay open, to love as if it matters, as if the world depends on it. I actually tried to paste it into the chat bar and it won't let me. I don't know why not.
Oh, it's so because
we'll send it out to you guys. It'll be on our Facebook page. So.
Thank you for reading it again, darling.
Oh, Rosemerry. So before I read the prompt, which may have been obvious to you, we'll see. I just want to talk a little about the magic that happens when we, at some point, Rosemerry and I just sort of are like, it's time to have a mission. And something magical always happens. I have a particular practice that I've been doing over the last month or so. And this poem of Rosemary's, when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's it. That's it. It was direct. It was exactly what my heart has been wanting more of. So thank you for that, Rosemerry, for whatever way that you bring that magic in. I'm pausing because we have some new secret agents just joining us right now. And welcome to those of you who have just joined in. I just let a few people in. Rosemerry has just finished reading her beautiful poem, which we will post in the Facebook group. And we're about to do the prompt reveal. So here we go. Our dear secret agents, the mission, should you choose to accept it, was explicit in Rosemary's beautiful poem. Invite compassion into every interaction. And be ridiculously courageous in love. What does that mean? As you go about your day, whenever you see or interact with a human being, especially in places that might typically be transactional, pause and really see that person. See them as a human being who has hopes and dreams and grief and disappointments and upsets and exhaustion and secret joy. See them as someone who is worthy of love and be ridiculously courageous in offering that love. Ridiculous courage might look like a sincere compliment. I love your beautiful smile. It might be asking them if anything sweet or funny happened to them yet today. It might be slipping a small chocolate bar into your shopping cart and then gifting it to them with a big smile after they ring it up. Maybe it's asking their name and sharing yours. Perhaps it's telling them something personal, like, I was feeling kind of blue today, but when I heard you laughing just now, it really cheered me. No one has to know what you are surreptitiously doing, but you will know that you're shining as much love on that person as you possibly can. You are looking at them and seeing one of the best human beings on the planet. What is your secret, double secret agent mission? It's this. After you walk away, pause to notice how your heart feels. Experience all the love and the compassion that you just gave away and marvel how it seemed to double in volume magically in the giving. Are you guys up for this? Raise your hands. Let's see ya.
One of the things, I love this mission. I love this mission, Sherry. And part of what I love about it, I love that you said, meet that person as one of the best humans on the planet, right? Just knowing that. And this mission reminds me so much of this speech that I saw like 20 years ago, in which they said that every single interaction that we have, even the smallest interaction, just passing someone on the street, is the opportunity to go one of three ways. Either it's neutral, there's zero change. You pass that person, you interact with that person, it's simply transactional, that's it. You bring your groceries up and you put them on the counter and you buy them and you pay them and they tell you how much it costs, actually not in that order, and you leave. And so that's one way it could go. It could also be a negative, right? You get up there and you start swearing and you're wondering why you can't find your phone and something else is happening, and you ignore them and you tell them that you had a bad experience in their store, or whatever it is. You can leave a negative, or you can leave a positive. Like Sherry said, you could say, "Oh, I like your hat." It's something very simple. It could be a very simple, this doesn't have to be a big, but just noticing that in every single interaction, the opportunity to put something in the plus column. Right there, just the opportunity to make small change, small little pluses all day long. So I think we should open it up and just have anybody think about any kind of interaction you could imagine having today. Even if you don't leave your house, I think, even if you're on the telephone with a telemarketer,
Yes.
there's probably some kind of little possible plus. Telemarketers are easy to have a negative in the negative column, I think.
Hey, Rosemerry, before, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I saw that Amy's dropping off and it's her birthday.
Happy birthday, Amy.
Thank you for being here. Can't wait to hear what your day is like, Amy. Yeah, sorry about that, Rosemerry.
It looks like somebody posted the poem in the chat box.
Yay!
That's so great. I wasn't able to do it, but Barb did it. Thank you, Barb. Thank you. If you scroll up, you'll see that she put the link to the poem on my blog. Thanks so much for doing that.
I wanted to quickly, Rosemerry, before
we've got Jerry Lynn has got her hand up, but Jerry Lynn, hold on one second. Sounds like Sherry's got something.
Oh, yeah. So I just wanted to speak just a bit about, for me, I talked to you about the magic of when Rosemerry posted this poem, that when I was traveling recently And I don't know for you guys, but when I travel, there's a different kind of openness, right? There's a different kind of like magic that we see in everybody and everything. And I noticed everybody as like the best human beings, right? Like, so I was buying socks as a gift for my mom, and the person selling them was just lit up to me because I was present to them. And I started asking people and videoing them, asking what they love about their life. And I'm not saying you have to do this by any means, but it just is an example of something for me that happened, was that in asking somebody what they loved about their life, it brought in everything that I had said to you, their hopes, their dreams, their disappointments. It made them so human, and it connected us immediately. And it also connected us to the joy, whether it was their dog or their mom or their work. Oh, I love that, Stella, compassionate presence, right? That's it. And so when I saw Rosemary's poem, it just really struck me as the perfect prompt. So Geraldine, please tell us what's on your mind. I think you're unmuted.
Let's see. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, I just thank you. Thank you so much. This is so wonderful this morning. I just wanted to share something I've been doing recently that has really worked for some magical reason. When I go around and do errands, and whether it's the checker in a grocery store or a Macy's or wherever, I've been saying to the person helping me, "How is your day going so far?" There must be some cosmic reason, because every single time they drop into their real self, and we have a short yet meaningful little back and forth. And I just leave the store or wherever feeling so high. So yeah, I just say, "How is your day going so far?" And we drop into that real place between us. I just wanted to share that in case that helps anybody else.
So beautiful, Geraldine, and that simple, right? It's that simple, just to ask a real question to create. And I like how you said that too. It's something that brings in our humanity. So it's not just a transactional interaction, right? It's something that becomes a human interaction. That's really beautiful. Nicely said. By the way, Karen, I don't know if you've gathered yet. Karen had missed the actual prompt of what is our secret mission, and it's basically just to, during any transactional interaction today, to use it as an opportunity to be ridiculously courageous and share a little bit of love in some way, just in that very transactional interaction. So whether you're crossing somebody on the street, or you're getting on the bus and you see the bus driver, or you're at the checkout stand, or you're on the phone with a telemarketer, just to think of some small way to bring humanity and love into that moment. Just like Geraldine was saying. Beautiful. Thank you. How about you, Valerie?
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm so happy we're here. So I am a poet. I love, I think poetry makes the world better. And I've memorized a few short poems that like a 1 minute poem. And it's my habit now when I'm in the world. I ask people, would you like to hear like a 1 minute poem? And I was on during when we were getting a break from paying our mortgages during the pandemic, the quarantine. I remember talking to this really lovely woman, and at some point I said, "Would you like to hear a poem?" And she said yes, and I recited the poem, and in the background I heard her snapping her fingers. But I went to Home Depot. It was a Friday. I had to buy a washing machine, and I had to just like buy it and get back to work. I was really in a hurry. And so I get there, and there's one salesperson, and he's selling a refrigerator. And so it's taken a long time. And finally, it's my time. But when I'm there, his cell phone keeps ringing. He's getting new carpet, and his wife keeps calling him. All people from different departments keep coming in and asking him questions. The store phone keeps ringing, and he keeps answering it. And he's curmudgeonly. He's just so cranky. And so he was trying to fill out my paperwork, and then he said, "What's your name again?" And I said, "Well, Poet. Just call me Poet. It's easier to remember than Val." And he said, "Are you a poet?" And he's working. I said, "Yes." He said, "Would you like to hear a poem?" And he said, "Yes." And he stopped moving. I mean, this guy was cranky. He was a big cranky dude. And I recited this poem for him, and he sobbed. He sobbed. And he's this big sweaty dude, and we put our arms around each other and we just rocked back and forth, and he cried and cried and cried. Um, and then afterwards he said, "Oh, I think we can give you 12 months to pay instead of 6. Call this number." But it was just like, it just changed. Like, whenever I see him now, I hug him in Home Depot. So it's just,
Oh.
and I did it at an IRS audit, and we ended up hugging. But it's like saying, it's walking into the world and saying, "I see you. Let's share a moment of humanity," and we don't have it, and I find it just really life changing. Comcast, here's my poems. Whoever takes my payments, here's my poems. So.
Thanks, Val. Thank you, Val. Thank you. What a sweet, sweet story.
I love that so much. Who posted the power of, yeah, Barb said the power of poetry. And I wanted to take just a sec and read what Barb had posted. She said, "My husband often says, thanks for being open, because so many small local businesses have gone under during the pandemic." You know, and one time when he said that, the person said, "I almost didn't come to work today." And I think that's such a beautiful, I love that as a suggestion, Barb, because it is something simple that it's easy to say when we're in a store, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Val. Thanks for sharing that. That's fun. And Pamela, how about you?
You should be able to unmute, Pamela.
Yeah, I just did. So I just wanted to speak to something Sherry said about when you give of yourself, you find something of yourself, maybe that you didn't know that you had. And I had also come in contact with Rosemary's poem, and about a week and a half ago, my next door neighbor died. And this is a neighbor that really terrorizes everybody else. And it's the house that no one goes to. And it's the house we're all afraid of, and the police are always there. And all of the rescue people showed up at the house, and the police, and they surrounded it, and it was a crime scene. And it was quite a while before they removed his body, and something told me to go next door. As afraid of that as I really was. And so it was 7 o'clock at night, and I knocked on the door, and the woman came to the door. And these are people who have stolen our wood, I mean, these people have really not been nice to us. And I stood there, and I was actually afraid to be there. And I said, "Oh, Diana, I'm so sorry." And she literally melted into me and wept and wept and wept. And I found something in myself that I never knew that I had. I never knew that I could be so compassionate to someone who I distrusted and disliked, having never really had a conversation with her, but I knew I disliked her. And so I went home, I offered her to come and stay with us if she didn't want to stay in her house, and offered her some food she hadn't eaten. And I went home, and I couldn't sleep, thinking that next door is a person who had a death in her house that day, and she was all alone. If that was me, my friends would all be there still at 7 o'clock at night. They'd be feeding me. But this woman was so alone. And so, to make a long story short, I went to the funeral yesterday, and my roommate and myself were the only two people there, and for her.
Oh.
And she invited us back to the house to have something to eat, and it was so uncomfortable, and it was so hard. It was she had these two guys there. We didn't know how to have conversation with them. We had nothing in common. She didn't have any food. She like just kept. It was the hardest thing in the whole world. And I live next door to this woman. So I mean, I don't want to go on and on. But when Sherry, when you said that, when you reach out and you think it's transactional, I went to that house because it was the right thing to do, and that's who I am. Not because I intended ever to have the kind of encounter with this person that I now have. And so I guess, in a sense, hearing you say that, Sherry, makes me also want to add a warning to people that watch out, because I don't know where I'm going with this now. I just know it scares me, and I can't just close my eyes anymore and have my judgments there anymore. So I mean, I don't mean to take that much time in telling my story, but all missions have a cost.
Pamela, thank you so much, because you actually, and this is part of the perfect synchronicity of everything. Like, I meant to say, and I didn't, that we also do need to be very aware, right? When we open ourselves up like that. And there's two parts to your story, right? I mean, there's such a beautiful, like the way that you were so there for this neighbor and showing up, and the compassion. And, I do appreciate what you're saying about also when we open ourselves up, when we connect on that level, that deeper level, our hearts are open, anything can fly in, right? So,
Right. And Rosemerry, I don't know if it's on your daily poem that I saw this poem or whatever, but that phrase about this ridiculous, wild, really kind of also helped me put this story in perspective, because I did read your poem, and then I was like, wow, yeah, that's it. So thank you for, again.
Well, you sure did live into ridiculous courage. Like, that's actually beyond. And what a beautiful thing you said about compassion for someone you don't like and don't trust. That's it, actually. That's really it. Like, and it is scary. Of course it's scary. That is terrifying, right? To be open
She's
in
right
that
next
way.
door. I can't
Right.
I can't just pretend she's not there.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you.
So
Thanks,
thank
Pam,
you.
for sharing
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you. Wow, these are some amazing stories. And how about you, Aida? Nice to see you, friend.
Oh, nice to see you. I was thinking, I was going to meet a friend, and the parking around where we were to meet was really challenging. And I followed this little red Prius, and she turned down the same way. And I thought, oh no, there's only one parking spot, but there were actually two, and she had moved forward so that I could park easily behind her. And I don't know, I thought, I just went up to her while she was trying to pay, and I said, thank you for moving forward, because I have terrible trouble parallel parking. So this is kind of the other side. But then I said, would you like me to pay for your parking? Because I have a handicap sticker and I don't have to pay.
Got a mask. Do you have one I can
And and then I saw that $1 wasn't enough.
Wait, I'm just so sorry. Somebody's not muted and I can't find you. I'm so sorry. I just want to be able to hear this. This is so beautiful.
Okay, so I don't know what you couldn't hear. So I offered to pay for her parking because I have a handicap sticker. And then I saw that one wasn't enough, so I gave her another one. And we had this moment where she talked about how money was hard and she didn't know how to be with her son, and she was worried, and she tried to keep, so it was this moment that just expanded into this beautiful connection, and it still stays with me. I still get goosebumps telling you that. And the other short one is my little neighbor who always has been helping his dad deliver groceries to me during this whole pandemic, graduated from the 5th grade yesterday. And I'd asked his dad, so he came over and I rolled up the $5 like a little diploma and handed it to him. And I wish, his whole body just shivered with delight at being seen and recognized. It was just, it's still, I think the value of sharing these stories is I'm telling you this and I can feel the delight just deepen in my own body. And that's part of what I've been trying to learn, is to really embody the love and let go of the fear of loving. So I really, those are my little stories. So thank you for listening.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Aida. And look how simple that was. The woman pulled forward, like just even that act, right? Like that act is, I think, part of what we were even thinking about with this mission is what small thing could I do that makes life better for someone else? Very small, right? Or even like, I think about here where I live, it's almost impossible to take a left-hand turn on the highway for the people who are trying to get out of their house and onto the highway. And it's the simplest thing to let them in, Like it's just these small, that's a very small plus. Like we've been hearing a lot of, I think, big pluses, but there's a very small plus, and then for you to go offer, can I pay for your parking? Nice. That's like a bigger plus. But beautiful. What a beautiful story. Thanks, Aida. How about you, Linda?
There's a lawnmower going outside, so if that's distracting, let me know and I'll just stop. But I don't know how I missed your poem in the daily emails, but it touched me so deeply. I had to stop, and it's how I wanted to be in the world. It's how I've strived to be in the world. It was like you were writing my life, and yet I could feel that I haven't been that way the past few years because of all that's been going on, and I cried because I hadn't been able to be that love in the world like I wanted to be. And I'm glad for the mission to reignite that for me, but I also wanted to share that years ago, when I started this, trying to be that way in the world, I went through this whole meditation process where I told you this before, I'm mimicked taking the door off my heart, actually unscrewing the screws and taking the hinges off. And I wanted to share that part because when it was so uncomfortable afterwards, living that way without that door there, because I was, I guess, used to it being there, that I had this very frank conversation with God afterwards. And it was like, okay, so this is uncomfortable and it feels like my heart's going to just fall out. So how do I live like that? And the response I got through the writing I was doing was, great, watch where it falls because love will grow there. And I was, oh, okay. And what can I dispute about that? That's what I wanted to be, right? Was to sow seeds of love. So that really helped me with the process. So if anybody else is feeling uncomfortable with that process, just remember that love will grow there. So thank you. And thank you for the reminder, Rosemerry, because I really needed it.
Oh, Linda, thank you so much. I love that. Love will grow there. Love will grow there.
And that gorgeous image of taking the door off your heart. Not just opening it, but taking it off. That's beautiful.
I know. In a little synchronicity, my last week's Lovegram was called Open the Door. And I'm going to have to do a follow-up and credit Linda. Like, don't just open it.
It was weird. It was like take each screw and put it down and take the hinge off. And yeah, weird, but really good.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Karen, how about you?
Okay, can you hear me? Okay. Well, I am a speech pathologist and I work at a school for moderate to severely impaired teenagers. A lot of them can't read or talk. last week I went to see them at the Special Olympics. And I had to drive a couple hours to get there. And on my way there, I realized I didn't have a sign. And I stopped, got paint and a board. And as I sat in the parking lot, I wondered, what do I write? Because they can't read. And so I came up, I'm going to show you what I came up with. I have to hide their faces, but I just made hearts.
Oh,
I just made hearts, and here's a couple of the kids holding up the sign. This sign got passed around the team, and here are the boys on the team holding up the sign. And they would each take turns holding it and cheering their teammates on with it. And it was a universal feeling, a universal thing they understood. And now that we're back at school, we're making nice words to give to each other. Here's one that one of my students made. I had to write it for him. And I also had to help him draw this. Well, actually, when he drew a line, I drew a line, and he started the circle. And so he will be doing almost like a secret agent, but he's planning to give this to somebody to be kind. So I guess I'm sharing that love really works, even if there are no words. I appreciate you all very much, and the poem made me cry a lot.
Karen, that is so beautiful what you just shared. And it underscores everything, right? That that our transactional moments with people, we don't have to say anything to convey that love and to see them in all of their beauty and light. Like, you're really helping us, like, with this other angle on the mission. You know, sometimes a lot of times when I'm out walking in San Francisco, people blaze through the stop signs here in a lot of places. So there's many times I almost get hit by cars. And I tried very hard to just do kind of a, like, you know, thank God I'm not dead. Thank God we didn't get into that situation together, and, you know, blow a kiss to them. Because it's just like, that, just what you're saying, like, we don't even need any words, right?
Yeah.
And what was so interesting was that they passed this along from one person to the other, and they all wanted it, and they wanted to share it too. And I'm glad I thought of it, like, in the last minute. It was in the wind, and I was holding the board down on the trunk of my car, trying to paint it in the parking lot.
And there it is that there's two sweet things I noticed. One is that you really showed up, right? You really showed up. You didn't just, you showed up with your presence, and you showed up with, you know, with this sign. And the other thing I noticed is that one person sharing love like that, putting the plus in the plus column, makes other people want to put pluses in the plus column. You know, like, it is that kind of a generative, inspiring thing where it takes one person doing one beautiful small act that makes you think, oh, I could do that too, right? Just, it's very sweet how they feed each other. Thanks, Karen. Thanks for that story.
Thank you.
I saw a note that the poem is in the chat bar. If you look for Barb's comment, it's a link to the poem on my website. I can't make the poem go
And
chat bar. I'm
Rosemary,
sorry about that, but
when people come in late, they can't see the previous chat. So I was just
they
asking,
can't.
I don't know who kindly was it
That was Barb.
Barb? If you could do, I'm so sorry because I don't have it handy.
Oh, but Barb's up next. So we're going to go ahead, Barb. You go ahead and share, and then you can. Oh, man, you can multitask like
I'm
that
really
was
fast
incredible.
with keyboards.
That's amazing.
Control C, Control V are my friends. Thank you. This is my first time here, and this is just a wonderful community. It reminds me of another online community I'm on where people I don't know become friends very, very quickly. And I've been reading Rosemary's poems for quite a while, and she knows I often record one for my daughters in the morning as a message because they don't live close to me. And today's poem is one of the ones I recorded. Can't talk about it without crying, so I'll stop right there. Yes, Val, I need another job. What I'm thinking of in terms of courage is something I've been doing in my work life, but it applies everywhere. And that is that I'm in a position of authority, I have a title, and often in meetings with people who would, if you were thinking of it as a food chain, they're below me in the hierarchy. And what I do is thank people for helping me learn something. So if I say something and somebody else says, oh, that isn't quite the way I would do it, or here's a suggestion or whatever, what I'm trying to do is show that I do not actually know everything just because I have a title, and it's okay to acknowledge that you don't know everything, and to have that learning moment and to sort of demonstrate learning right in front of you. And especially on things that I would say I've been working at in my agency that I work for is working at around understanding racism and other biases, and people don't always say things exactly the way they want to, or they're using language that they thought was a good language, and we've moved past that. And so saying really deliberately, really important that you helped me understand that that's not the way to say that now, or something like that, that willingness to be imperfect and to share that and to make it okay for other people to be imperfect, but to be learning, and so you're always falling forward. I feel like that's the thing I'm doing in work, and now I'm thinking about where else would I do something like that. I mostly am in my house staring at a screen like this, so I don't have a ton of human encounters in 3 dimensions, but I think that might be a piece of this, and remembering to be an exuberant puppy when I do this.
Isn't that it too? That is so gorgeous. The invitation to show up imperfect and to understand that imperfection can be one of the most profound pluses, right? That we don't have to show up perfect to make a plus, that in fact showing up imperfect can be a giant plus. Wow, what a gorgeous, gorgeous way to be gentle with it. So that line in that poem about being gentle with my own insufficiency, like that's what that feels like, right? Is that willingness to be very gentle with ourselves and our own imperfections. So, and that's what allows us, by the way, I think, like we were hearing about earlier with Pamela, to find that compassion. When we have that compassion for ourselves when we're imperfect, it's, I think, much easier to have compassion for other people when we notice them being very imperfect, right? Just to start it right here, to be gentle with our own insufficiency. Wow, so beautiful, Barb. Thank you for that. Sherry, do you have anything to add, sweetheart?
Oh yeah, this is why you all matter, each and every one of you. Like I'm overwhelmed with joy so Rosemerry and I, we get together and we think we have an idea of what the mission is, but the mission it's multiplied so much when each of you show up like you do, and when you're willing to share, like, oh, I have an idea, because it's all these facets, right? Like we're seeing, and it multiplies and multiplies and multiplies. And I'm so grateful. I just, that's what was coming up for me, is the subtlety, right? That can come from like what Barb just shared. It was beautiful.
Right, like look at all these new nuances we have, like how being imperfect can be in the plus column and how wordlessly we can be in a plus column, or memorizing a poem can be in the plus column. I mean, like so many ways to do it right. So many ways to do it. Helen, how about you? Oops, I don't hear you yet, friend. You're still on mute.
Yeah, okay.
There you are.
Well, I was with my grandson, he was under 2, and we were on vacation. He wasn't used to elevators. So every time the door opened, he greeted the people who came, and then they left him over and over. They walked out of the elevator over and over. And he was such an example of courageous love, perfectly delighted to say goodbye and to say hello and to keep doing it, no matter how many people left the elevator or came in. And then another time we were walking on the beach and a little 4-year-old was playing, and I just walked by and said hello. He turned to his mother and he said, "She hide me." You know, H-I, she hide me.
What a good verb.
but I really said a tiny thing to try to tell you. I want to say another thing. In the 90s, there was an enormous international women's conference. Hillary Clinton decided against a lot of disapproval to go, and she made an amazing speech about women's politics. And my organization was national, but not international. And we decided to raise as many tickets, airplane tickets, to raise as much money as we could to send women. And what we did was we had a mission to only listen, because everyone else going to the conference wanted to brag and boast about what they had done and they had agendas. And we just wanted to hear what their agendas were. And it was unbelievable, the blossoming that came internationally out of that. And it was very easy to do.
Oh, Helen, oh my goodness. I'm about ready to jump out of my seat. Only listen. Holy cow. Imagine. And how surreptitious it is, right? Like,
yeah, that's a super surreptitious act. I think we could totally do mission only listen. That is gorgeous. What a beautiful, beautiful thing, Helen, to notice how just listening to someone is a plus. And, you know, what a beautiful, beautiful addition to this conversation. Thank you so much.
And I can't let that elevator story go by either. I mean, again, think about, when you were telling that, Helen, I was thinking it's so freaking awkward on elevators when no one talks, right? Because they're all like standing there. And the minute somebody's a human being, you could feel it, right? I could just only imagine this beautiful boy welcoming her. That could be its own mission too, you know, like just welcoming people, welcoming them in the door, welcoming them.
Hi.
And today he's going to be 12 in a few weeks, and he's growing hydroponic lettuce and selling it at his own booth at the farmer's market. So that grew into something that he was able to do.
Oh, so sweet. Thank you for that. Stella, how about you?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Can I jump in really quickly? I just, Helen, if it would feel right to you, I would love to send a secret note to, it's your grandson, right? Where'd you go, Helen? I lost you.
Yes.
If that would feel right, you know, DM me or somehow contact me. I'd love to send, because that, I will carry that with me. His kindness.
All right. I will put I'll put my email on the chat. Would that work?
Yeah, or if that feels uncomfortable, you can also just, you know, DM me in Facebook. Are you in our group?
Okay.
All right, is Stella still here?
Yeah, where'd she go?
Oh, she keeps falling. Oh, there she is. Hi, Stella.
Good morning. I keep falling out. My computer is not working with me today for some reason. So this is my third time back. The whole conversation, you Rosemerry, you know, is right up my alley because of the work that I do. And I really appreciate the stories that people have shared today in terms of the sharing of being with someone, the lady, I forget her name at the moment, who spoke about going next door and being with the person who wasn't quite the nicest person, but she was in a moment of suffering. You know, I really know that from this work that I'm involved in with Boundless Compassion, that my suffering is your suffering, and your suffering belongs to me. And to be able to share that at some level is truly what compassion is about. But, you know, it gets a little scary to do that. You have to be kind of brave. And I had this thought about, you know, okay, so loving kindness, somewhat compassion, same parallel. We need to first be self-compassionate. And then we can do loving kindness with someone that's in our world, someone that we love. Then we do it to the person who's the mail person or the grocery store person. That's just basically the Pali metta loving kindness. And, you know, you can do it secretly. So it's a perfect secret agent mantra or prayer to look up the metta. There's simple words, make up your own. May you be happy, may you be safe, may you be well. And then go beyond and just go beyond yourself. Go to that person you love. Go to that person who makes you crazy. Actually, I need to practice that towards somebody I had an encounter with on Saturday who shall remain nameless. But you got to do it. Even if it just means silently doing it in your heart. It's opening our heart, and it opens the door. All we have is love. That's it. And I think the metta opens us wider. So thank you for this invitation. When I first read that poem, it gave me goosebumps. I sent it off to Joyce immediately. So hopefully it'll be listed on our private sector of the Boundless Compassion Facilitator site. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's all good. And I have a mission in mind. I'll keep it a secret till I do it.
Thank you, Stella. I can't wait to read about it in our Facebook group. And this is a gorgeous point that these opening ourselves up, right? That finding the compassion doesn't even have to have an actual transaction, that it can be a blessing, that it can be something that just putting it out there, that, you know, that surreptitiously, so that they don't even know. They don't even know. Or maybe they do somehow. Yeah, beautiful, really beautiful. Thank you for that, Stella.
And I'm very saddened to see that we are at the top of the hour, and it goes on. This is the best thing, right? Like that even when we leave this circle, that we all gather in the Facebook group. And I think that was just the most perfect way to end, you know, our circle. Thank you, Stella, for that. That it's, you know, we've seen the whole range, just like Rosemerry just said. And we've only just begun, right? We've only just begun thinking about it. It's only, well, where I am, it's only 9 o'clock. And we have a whole day, and it doesn't have to stop today. I just wanted to remind people of that, you know, if you do the mission today and then you repeat it tomorrow and next week after that, come back to the Facebook group. Let us know. Let us know. It really matters. Rosemerry, did you want to say anything before we go?
Well, I did notice that there was in the chat bar, maybe we'll keep it up for just, you know, for a second, that so people can see that there are some really beautiful other links, including one that Aaron Robertson put in with a song about how love is a ripple, and there was a link to that song. So it was all about how the plus column goes on. So maybe just scroll around through the chat bar and see if you can find other links that you might want to find, including that there were quite a few in there. So
Rosemerry, maybe, sorry to interrupt you, but maybe if people who posted in the chat could post in the Facebook group if you want, although we don't usually post links to other things, but you could just tell us about whatever it is, and then people could go find it if they want. The reason that we do that about the links is that sometimes it can become then, like we really love to keep the Facebook group personal stories.
just about what people are really doing in Secret Agents of Change. Yeah.
But you could, if it's part of your story, then post it in the Facebook group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Rosemary, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I just want to thank every single one of you. I want to thank you, Sherry. Oh my gosh. It's such a sweetness. It is such a sweetness to be here together and and think of these beautiful ways and share these beautiful ways that we open up our own humanity, that we take the doors off of our hearts, like Linda was saying, and that we make a difference, that it makes a difference. It's the stories I most want to hear. Yeah.
You too, Rosemary. I know you know this, but everyone here has benefited so deeply from your courage. Talk about ridiculous courage to show up the way that you do day after day after day and share with us so many things that you see and feel and know, and you offer us gifts. So
thanks.
Yeah. And to all of you again, please never underestimate the power of showing up the way that you did today. It's great when it's me and Rosemary, we love each other, but wow.
It's way better with everybody. Yep. We'll look for you in the Facebook group, friends. Thank you so much.
Love you. Mwah.
Thank you for sharing all of your stories.
Woo.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you in the Facebook group.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye, Paula Lip.
Bye, sweetheart.
Love your smiles, everyone. That's a secret agent mission, isn't it, Rosemary? Just smiling at everyone.
Yeah, Operation Smile. I think that's coming. We got some good ideas for new missions today. Operation Smile, Mission Just Listen. That one actually almost rhymes. That makes it even better.
Oh, I know. Rosemary and I are staying
Bye,
on.
sweet Eduardo.
We're not ending the meeting because Rosemary and I have to talk about something. So we're going to stay on, but we're going to ask that, sadly.
Goodbye, Mark. Good to see you. Bye, Petey Boy. Bye, Stella. Bye, Geraldine. Bye, Tara.
Bye.
Bye, dear Eduardo.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Eduardo, I'm glad you made it.
Can you hear me? I cannot get off the meeting by myself because I had eye surgery and I can't navigate the arrow. So you have to take me off or else I have to turn off the computer.
Kick you off, but it's with deep love, Helen, all right?
What?
I'm kicking you off, but with big love.
Okay, thank you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Oh, all right. And we should turn off our recording, my darling.
Thank you. Good point.
Oh, my goodness. And now I literally have about 30 seconds.